Hello, hello! After a full year of bullet journaling, I'm finally ready to share my 2020 bullet journal flip through. So let's go back to the beginning and get started. If you watched my most recent bullet journaling setups, you'll know that I've been adding a bit more of a creative side into my journal, but it definitely wasn't always like that. I started out very simple using a grayscale for the beginning of the year setup. I honestly think that these might have been some of my favorite setups just because of how minimalistic and simple they were. I think one of my biggest accomplishments this year was posting more consistently on YouTube. I made a lot of new content, but I also finally sat down and edited some of the old clips that I took on various trips in the past. I still have a couple more trips to go through, so you'll be seeing that content pop up throughout next year. These last two spreads from the beginning of the year setup are probably my favorites. In the playlist, I just wrote down the names of songs that I liked that were released throughout 2020. There's a ton of BTS in my playlist, but I think one of the biggest discoveries was 17. Their music and content really helped me to get through quarantine. I also made a list of the series that I wanted to watch throughout the year, and I felt like I watched a lot, but looking back, I feel like I didn't actually check off that many in my list. Alright, on to the months. For January, I went with a very simple setup and just incorporated the colors of winter, so mainly blues and purples. I really just liked how simple everything was, and I wasn't too ambitious and just used the same style of weekly spreads throughout the month. I really liked the font I used for the titles though. Then I did a small spread planning for my weekend trip to Atlanta. I had our flight details, a packing list, some things to do or places to eat, and then just a short log of what we did each day. I kind of want to do some more random spreads like this throughout the next year. Moving on to February, my theme was based on the K-drama Hotel del Luna. This was when I started to do themes based on what I was interested in, and this gave me the first taste of drawing in my journal. I really like how the flowers turned out for this monthly. And I just added little nods to the drama like this firefly. I also added some simple lettering for the song titles of my favorite songs on the OST. Mulan was supposed to release in March, so I had chosen Mulan as my theme. I love the classic quote from the movie, "The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all." This might be one of my favorite monthly setups with the cherry blossoms around the calendar. I really liked how the weeklies came out for this month, but I think the boxes were a little too skinny for my liking. I did love having the single cherry blossom in the corner of the pages. April was when quarantine hit really hard and work got really busy, so I just wanted some encouragement to help me get through it. I decided to just write down verses from Philippians and to do a simple green theme. May might be one of the most creative themes in this journal, and it was based on Taehyung's song Sweet Night, which was part of the Itaewon Class OST. When I first heard it, I just imagined someone dreaming about these cute little paper boats. This was also the first time I watercolored. The paper in this journal was a little too thin, so I painted on the watercolor paper before taping it in. Again, just some more song lyrics throughout the setup. For June, I based my theme on a Chinese drama called The Untamed. I did 2 watercolor paintings, and I'm really proud of how they both turned out. I challenged myself a lot more with drawing in June, and I was really happy with how this turned out. I love that each spread was a different theme from the other, but they all incorporated little things from the drama. July was really fun to practice my lettering with all of the BTS Map of the Soul 7 songs. It actually really inspired me to letter the song titles for BTS's B and 17 semicolon album. I really love how the 7 logo came out, but I just remember in the moment of drawing it that I thought there was no way that it would turn out well. I also did a Dutch door kind of front cover so that when you flip the page, you could still read the same lyrics on either side. Of course, I had to incorporate purple for ARMY. All of the weeklies were really fun, but I definitely like a little more structure to where my sections for the days of the week are. I think August might have been one of, if not my favorite setup in 2020. I just love the simplicity of it all, and I did it based on the song 8 by IU and featuring Suga. This is also when I started putting a quote on the page opposite of my cover. This whole month had a sort of sunset theme throughout the setup, and I think the really simple lowercase font helped to bring this theme all together. Oh my goodness, this brunch theme for September. I kind of forgot that I drew this. I think that the avocados and eggs were probably my favorite doodles to draw this month. You can also see a decent amount of ghosting in this spread, which is why I ended up switching to a Maisie Lane journal for next year. This avocado weekly was so much fun to draw and my favorite weekly for this month, but it was definitely a little tedious to color it all in. For October, I did a Hamilton theme featuring the song titles. I definitely always feel very motivated at the beginning of each month to use my journal, but then I forget as I get busy or when I don't have a lot going on. I do like the amount of space that I had for each day in this weekly setup. It's like the perfect size to-do list for me. November didn't really have a theme and I wasn't feeling very inspired, so I went for a very easy setup by incorporating a lot of stickers and washi tapes that I got as a gift. I always think incorporating stickers and washi tape are great options for when you don't know what theme you want to do. I actually really loved the simplicity of the holly theme for December. Even though it was a little more doodle heavy with all of the holly doodles, the rest of the setup was very minimalistic. I was actually surprised I used the brain dump page a decent amount. I mostly used it when planning out my journal for 2021, so I don't know that I'll need one every month. I did make a gratitude log for December, but obviously I didn't really use it. Even if I don't use spreads though, I still find it a good creative exercise when I'm making the setup, and then it also kind of shows me what sort of spreads I might need or not need for the next month. Plus I started journaling more, so all of my thoughts went into the other journal. I tried out a timetable to plan out my day, which in theory sounded good, but I couldn't really plan out the day until the night before or day of, so I don't know if I'll go back to this setup. I definitely really want to do more large doodles across the page in the future like this holly doodle. So that is my 2020 flip through. Let me know in the comments what your favorite theme was, and I will see you all in 2021. Bye!